Alright, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the one, the heavyweight champion, the master of the laughter, the fucking prince of Persia, the fucking heavyweight black belt?
No, bro, white belt.
But still world champion? Still fuck you up, guys, okay? Please put your hands together for Amin!
What an intro. Thank you very much. So, wow, okay, I'll stand away from this. So my name is Amin Reza Sultani, which makes me obviously British. I don't know why people laugh. I am from England and from London, West London also, not Hounslow, Notting Hill. I just grew up in a household where my father told me everything was Persian. He told me cats are Persian. He said carpets are Persian. He said even civil rights is Persian. Persian, not Iranian, because those people are crazy. He even said, you live in Dubai, everyone driving Persian cars. I said, explain. He says the Mercedes G-Wagon is Persian. Why? Because the Shah of Iran, the crazy guy before these crazy people, he ordered 20,000 of them. I said, on that logic, Baba, then I invented the Big Mac. Thank you. That joke was actually a lot funnier when I was 65 kilos heavier. Because since the last 2 years, I've lost 65 kilos. Thank you. See, my wife is a personal trainer, right? I did a little bit what like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm not going to say his last name, Arnold did, the Terminator, right? He had sex with his maid and had a child. I had sex with my personal trainer and I married her. So what my wife said was, she said she found 3 rules or 3 interesting facts that would help me lose weight. She said if I lose weight, she read an article that for every 15 kilos, my penis will grow another inch. Yes, you're thinking you're calculating 60 kilos. The second thing was... she said she'll buy sexy red lingerie. Yeah? And then the third thing was, she said, we'll have more sex. So of course, I lost the weight, and I know you're all thinking she was calculating it in her head. I'll set the record straight. I can now fit in that sexy red lingerie. Now, the thing is, people don't get it. Like, you guys understand, you know, you clapped and everything, but a lot of people don't understand how I've lost weight, and they come up and they're confused. And those people are mostly Iranian. They walk up to me and they say, Shul, touch the belly. What happened? How did you do it? You look wonderful. Explain. What was your secret? Are you doing this fasting intermittently? You're doing training? What is it? Eating healthy? I said, I am eating healthy. I'm gymming 4 times a week, and I'm doing jiu-jitsu 8 times a week. They said, oh, we understand how you did it now. Ozempic. I'm like, no. I'm training and I'm doing jiu-jitsu 8 times a week, right? They're like, oh, jiu-jitsu, we understand. You're gay. I said, no, jiu-jitsu is not gay, right? Jiu-jitsu is men getting sweaty, grabbing each other, hugging each other, getting on top of each other, being choked, and a bit awkward, yes. But as my friend said, I'm not a UFC fighter, and if you laugh, I'm not going to hit you. I'll just probably sit on you and cuddle you. But my wife, see, what happened was I became the world champion of jiu-jitsu a month ago. True story. I am white belt world champion. Yeah. And my wife was confused. She said, how? I said, well, I just had to perform for 1 minute. She said, that makes sense. But she asked me, what did you do for the other 30 seconds? I said, I cuddled my opponent. She asked me if you pretended to fall asleep. Now, there's a lot, fucked up, but I'm married now, so it's okay. I'm not trying to pick anybody up. I have a ring and everything. If I look at women, it's tighter, it doesn't come off. If I look at a man, it's awfully too easy. Some mechanics there. But before we got married, I told my wife there was one rule that was non-negotiable, which means I asked her very nicely, because she's a 5th degree black belt in karate. I told her that if we get married and we have a child, and it's a boy, he must be circumcised. Anyone know what circumcision is? Right? Women somehow know all the time. But for the infidels who don't know, circumcision is when the boy is born, they chop off a bit of his penis. In my case, a little bit too much. But I explained to her, it's not about religion and it's not about science. And it's not even about aesthetics, although I really believe that the mushroom cut is a lot cooler looking and very aerodynamic. But she wasn't impressed with the speed factor of things. But I told her, what about hygiene? You know, because I'm confused, right? I don't know if you're circumcised, I don't want to get that personal with you, but I don't know what you're supposed to do with it. Because what happens with my son, who's inquisitive fucker, turns around and says, Daddy, how do I clean my penis? Right? What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to like hold it with one hand and pull the skin back like... It's like a shotgun action, you know? I don't know what to do with that convertible. Really, I don't know. So my wife looked at me, she said, well, I've seen your hygiene and yeah, definitely I'm going to teach him how to clean his penis. And then, yeah, it's true. But then she can explain how she knows how to clean penises better than Daddy. And I sleep on the couch a lot. Nothing wrong with it, I got a PlayStation. The first one, I don't have money for the fifth one. Because when you're married, you know what happens when you have a child? You have no money. Because you spend all your money on the kid's education. So I flew back to England this summer. And we flew via Sun Express. With Sun Express to Turkey, through Turkey to Manchester. Anyone ever flown Sun Express? Yeah. Really? Yeah, to Turkey, right, Antalya? Okay, so you'll understand. I'll explain to other people. Sun Express is a budget airline of a shitty budget airline, worse than Fly Dubai and Air Arabia put together. Those are like first class. And everything you ask them on this airline is no, a nine or yacht. And they charge you for everything, right? They charge you for food, they charge you to put your luggage on the plane, they charge you for hand luggage, they charge you for drinks, but they don't charge you for Wi-Fi, right? No Wi-Fi charge, because there's no Wi-Fi. And every single time we flew, they made a mistake with our food. I don't know if you had the same problem. Every single time. And they were like, don't worry, we'll make it up to you. We'll give you biscuits. Onion-flavored biscuits. Disgusting, right? Now, no amount of dipping is going to change the flavor of that onion biscuit. So I want to go to the toilet. And they're like, yo, 9, you can't go. Why? Because the pilot's in the toilet. Now you're thinking, who's flying the plane, right? If the pilot's flying the plane. The co-pilot. No, the co-pilot was handing out the biscuits on our plane. I said, why can't I use the toilet? He says, because the pilot had the biscuits also and he has diarrhea now. It was not that great. Oh, I think it's at the time. I don't even know. So, I grew up in England, you know, and looking the way I do, when I used to have a beard, they used to make fun of me and call me a lot of things like terrorist and what have you. It was a bit rough. And I got bullied a lot. And they used to call me Ahmed the Arab. Right? And I have a proud father, right? He's proud Persian. So I would go back to him and say, Dad, they're calling me an Arab, right? Nothing wrong with being an Arab. He said, but you go back to them and you tell them you're a proud Persian. So I did. I said, I'm Persian. They say, fuck off back to India, you packy. So you know it's bad in West London. It's rough, it's rough. And this bullying continued. It continued. When I was 12 years old, they used to make fun of me and call me gay because I didn't have a girlfriend. Right? I didn't look as handsome as I did now, you know? As I do now. It was hard when I was 12 years old. And the worst part was the bullies were my dad and his friends. My dad used to say to me, what is wrong with you, Baba? You go to a school with 50% girls and you have no girlfriends. I went to school in Iran, 100% boys' school. I had many girlfriends. Okay, some of them are cousins, you know, Mariam and Vida, and the odd goat. But, because where he's from, the goats are very sexy, he says. This is what he says. And the funny thing about my dad is he makes a crazy leg of lamb. He's an amazing chef. I think it's something to do with the marinade. But after 2 years, this continued. And I finally came home and I was proud. I said, Baba, I have a girlfriend. He said, Mashallah, my son. What is her name? So I stood proudly in front of him and I said, her name is Charlie. He said, I knew you were homosexual. You are the gay. I said, no, Baba, in England, Charlie is short for Charlotte, right? He said, no, Charlie is fucking short for Prince Charles. So Charlie dumped me after 2 weeks. I was sad and my dad consoled me. He said, what's wrong? You're upset because Prince Charles dumped you? We don't talk much, my dad and I, but he called me after 30 years for Father's Day. And he was like, did you see what happened? I said, no, what happened? He said, your ex got a promotion. Confused. He said, this is the fucking problem with you, Baba. You married a personal trainer and after 7 years you're still fat. But if you'd been smart and stayed the gay, you also would have got a promotion. Right now you would have been the Queen of England with King Charles, wearing the sexy red lingerie. Guys, thank you very much. That's been my time. Please give it up for yourself.
You're for Amin, ladies and gentlemen. You're for Amin. Clap your hands. He would beat the shit out of you, please.